is a couple more things that could definitely be made. Their products, again, makes jobs. B, they're things that can be used, again, in the realm of a self-funded volunteer service of gaining skills to help people in general, to help in a crisis, just good skills to generally have, so when we go away with friends and family camping, four-wheel driving, etc. But not only that, is if we did have some type of a service, you know, belts, uniforms, etc., etc. Now, say this country did need to, say we did go into some type of a conflict with a government adversary from overseas, doesn't matter who it is. This country here would need to mobilise the troops. It would need to create housing for all of these troops. It would need to... We've only got 65,000 defence personnel nationwide, remember. There might be some reservists on top of that. And we would have ex-servicemen who would probably answer the call and they would sign up. They may have little bits of their old equipment, but they would need to double this. They'd need to like quadruple the size of this army, like ASAP, this defence force ASAP. So why wait until we're in a conflict to do that, just to try and get a couple of 100,000 people into basic training without any preparations? We're not ready for it. They're going to need boots, clothing, etc., etc., backpacks, etc. So why not have a service that's self-funded, so we pay for it ourselves? It's cheap, it's non-profit, it's just so that we already have pre-training. So if we did ever have to go into basic training for the military, we already have quite a few basics prerequisites already established. Okay, these could be the first people to sign up, etc. Now, if we had our volunteer service, we were able to do that and we got it up and running and it was quite successful. The amount of people, I don't know. I'm assuming that there would probably have to be, somewhere at least 50,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 people that would probably be pretty keen to learn lots of different skills, especially if it was like the same price as entry to, like just cheap, you know. And then that means that we would have a couple of 100,000, if people bought their stuff, there would already be a couple of 100,000 pairs of boots, uniforms, belts, backpacks, socks, hats, pouches, water bottles, containers, storage bins, tents, swags, hammocks, etc. You know, it's already made, it's already there, and because they've already been made, and now there's manufacturing facilities, instead of having just one or two, now there's already enough. There's already manufacturing facilities around the place that are already making it. So if we really needed to step it up, boom, they can step up production, employ more people, and bang, we get the stuff that we need. We've already got these guys are already covered. Then the next wave of people, boom, we've got more stuff ready to go. It's just a way of accelerating the training requirements. Now, on top of that, say we were able to have a kinetic side of this. So a militia that operates within current laws that we say, even if we're restricted by the firearms laws that we have, just nationalise them so we can travel across borders. No scary assault machine gunny, like nuclear bomb launching things with that are scary, black and blah blah blah. Okay, so we're only allowed to have bolt actions. Okay, and single shots. I still see a place for these. Okay, I've talked about a scout type rifle or a patrol sort of rifle based around a lightweight, short, compact rifle that has maybe in a couple of calibers, but we narrow down those calibers. So obviously 5.56 would probably be there, 7.62 would be there, 308, potentially 6.5 Creedmoor, and maybe one or two others. Okay, 9mm would be there. Now another thing that can be made with all of these same products that can be grown and manufactured around here, which would also go to helping a militia sort of. The thing with the militia is as well, a militia isn't a fighting force made to go and fight frontline government forces. Being able to do militia training just gives us the basic training and gives us communication, medical, all of these things in advance. Tracking, surveillance, reconnaissance, being comfortable with sleeping on the ground, how to sleep comfortably, how to find water, how to hide, how to camouflage, things like that. How to cook food to prepare food without making fire and smoke and things like that. So, and then it also would show marksmanship and general gun safety and things like that. Get all of that sort of stuff out of the road, so in case we did have to go to war again, these are things that we don't have to worry about. There's a certain big block of people that would put their hand up to volunteer for the army, for basic training, and not that you skip over it, but you're already pre-trained before you go to basic training. So, some things that could, and also to build the firearms industry. We have one place west of Sydney that produces all of our firearms. We have, as far as I know, just one place that makes all the ammunition for the whole country. They also make powders and ammunition for the civilian market as well. So why have all your eggs in one basket? Why not have ammunition making facilities all over the place? And the supply and demand will come from training. At the moment, we're muzzled. Our hands are tied behind our back. We've got extremely restrictive gun laws. And, so this should be open to people who don't want to go through the bullshit. They're not really too concerned about owning firearms, etc. But they still should be able to do this sort of training and come onto an approved rifle range or whatever it is and shoot rifles and get basic training. It's our right. It's God's given right, So, and again, that means there's all these manufacturing places that are already pre-existing. So in a time of need, boom, they can step up production and we got more ammunition for the whole country, let alone the army. So other things that can be grown and made from those things would be cellulose. Cellulose is used in explosives and gunpowder. It's used in plastics and all that sort of stuff. So plastic ammunition cases, cartridge cases. Yeah, America has been doing a lot of research and development into plastic cartridge cases, and they're working extremely well. The test results seem to be like way better than I ever thought they would be. They're getting the weight of the ammunition down, and the plastic cases are also not transferring heat to the barrels. So the barrel, you can fire more rapid fire rounds through your barrel without overheating it, which means the barrels will last longer, plus you'll get better accuracy for longer. So there's plastic cases, Hey, could these plastic cases be made of biodegradable? I don't know. It's just a question throwing out there. So there's something else that can be made. Gun stocks. The Australian Army, Ausstire, it's got a plastic stock on it, polymer stock, whatever it is. Lots and lots of firearms now have polymer stocks. They've proved themselves to be good. There's cheap ones and there's good ones. So gun stocks are something that can be made. If we can find a narrow down the number of firearm actions that are going to be used, those gun stocks could be made, and then then you could get research and development aftermarket ones that go, okay, well, here's fancier ones, here's these ones have got this feature and that feature and blah 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 blah. So it creates more industry, more jobs, and they can be rural jobs. There could even be incentives for people to set up your businesses to make these in rural areas. Okay, Polymer Magazines, for your firearms. Again, the Ostire uses Polymer Magazines as standard equipment and plastic stock. So there's no reason why a militia bolt action rifle isn't made to, like, a lot of rifles do use. My missus has got a Hauer mini action 6.5 Grendel, and it uses Polymer Magazine standard. So there's no reason why they couldn't be made. Plastic stripper clips. I talk about stripper clips. These things. These are old 303 ones, World War II issue. They're made of steel. There's no reason, that's just stamped steel. There's no reason why that couldn't be made out of a fiber reinforced polymer. Maybe not even fiber reinforced. All it has to do is have a little bit of springy action just to hold the clips in place. That's just a laser bore sighter, and that's obviously just an empty cartridge. So, and there is a place for these. What else? Ammunition storage containers. Like the army has mortar shells, artillery shells, and all sorts of things, and they're in those plastic sealed containers with the screw off lids on them. They could all be made out here by plastics. All the ammunition crates and that the army use, ammunition boxes, they could all be made out here to encourage industry, etc., etc. Now, rocket launchers like the 66 M72 rocket launcher system, the telescopic one that you pull apart, it's on all the movies and that. It's made of fiberglass. It's made to be a one-shot weapon that you just smash on the ground after use and you throw it away. Why not make those out of a reinforced polymer sort of plastic? It can be manufactured out here, same process, blah 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 blah. But don't make it so it's piss weak and you just throw it away after each shot. That's not carbon friendly. Make it so it's reusable, repackable. You can refire it. We're not in a war at the moment, so we don't need to just pump them out as quickly as we can. Make better quality ones so they can be refired, and that can be something that a militia or a civilian service sort of national service type thing could use. Practice marksmanship with basic infantry weapons, rocket launcher, and cheap rocket launcher. They don't have to use explosive warheads for practice. They can just use dummy rounds. Quite often, or more often than not, the M72 66 uses sub-caliber munitions that just follow the same trajectory as the real ones. There's no harm in people shooting those at rifle ranges. The rocket motor is usually burnt out before it comes out the end of the barrel, so it doesn't burn the firer. So there's no risk of fire downrange because the rocket motor burns out inside the tube. And as long as there's not an explosive projectile there, what's the big deal? It just hits a dirt mound at the end at 50, 100, 150, 200 meters. And and then again, you could have massive stockpiles of those with other manufacturing facilities. So if there is a time of need, boom, we got shitloads of them. They can be volley fired, So, and a couple of things that I've got here. These are old bandoliers that were issued to soldiers that had stripper clips in them. So you'd have one facing this way, one facing that way. 5 rounds in each clip. So each pouch has got 10 rounds. So there's 50 rounds per bandolier. Okay, so these are old original ones. I went and seen a seamstress, bought some material that's more heavy duty than these things, but it's still not very heavy, but it's way nicer. It's soft, it's nice, because these things are just slung over your shoulder, over your neck, and when you feel how skinny and thin and rough textured these are, they dig into you, then surely they'd be uncomfortable, especially in the heat where you're sweating, and in the jungles, in the tropics, that would be very uncomfortable. So I got some of these made. Look at that. There's no reason why that couldn't be made of any type of natural fiber material. There's no steel at all. It's just sewn. They could be made all around the country. I got these made, to hold for Lee Enfields, and to hold the stripper clips, and I got a few extra ones made as well. But these could be made en masse. That's 10 stripper clips made of steel. I like these for a bolt action patrol rifle. We're limited by laws, so I'm trying to think of things that can be used within our laws. So, using stripper clips. If you wanted to carry 50 rounds of ammunition, and you had a hunting sort of style or scout bolt action style rifle, okay, say it takes a stand mag or something else like that, we're limited in this country to a 10 round magazine as it is. So that means you'd need, if you wanted to carry 50 rounds of ammo on you, you'd need 5 magazines. The last magazine that my missus bought for her, little 5-shot magazine for her Hammer Mini Action, it's the Polymer Magazine, that was $89, so $90. So just for magazines alone, she would, you know, that's just going to cost her, like, you know, nearly $500, 400 and whatever dollars, and that's only going to get her 25 rounds. You know, 25 rounds of ready to use ammo, plus it's bulky. So that's why having 1 or 2 magazines, and then having the ability to be able to use stripper clips, A, it's way cheaper, B, it's lighter. Then you can carry them in something as simple as that, instead of having webbing, nylon webbing that needs to be made of, you know, heavier duty material, and the costs go up. So if you wanted to volunteer service, you need to keep the costs down. So stripper clips, cheap, simple bandolier system like that with polymer stripper clips, that would be the way to go as far as I'm concerned. Okay guys, a couple other things, stuff it while I'm here. These are hemp products that I've had for about 10 years. Okay, this is a sanding disc, obviously. This is made by a place called Universal Plantex. It's made in Germany. Well, as you can hear, that's pretty hard. And I've had this for over 10 years. I've never used it because this is my display model. And this is cold pressed hemp board. Again, I got it at the same time as that. It's well over 10 years old, and that is, there's not a chance in hell at all that you're gonna not even coming close to even bending it, let alone breaking it. That's nice and light. And they told me that that was cold pressed, 100%, just the resins in the plant are the glue. Nothing added to it at all. That's just pure hemp stalks. So, yeah. So there's, and they've aged quite well, you know. Both of them over 10 years old. So, anyway guys, that's that. Thank you.